Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to be unboxing 3 new fragrances, including Paris Corner's Honeyed Fantasy. So let's jump into it. All right, we're back with another unboxing first impressions video of 3 new fragrances that I recently picked up. Links are going to be down in the description if you decide you want to check any of these fragrances out. Also some coupon codes, save yourself a few bucks at a variety of different places if you decide you want to shop with them. So pretty excited about this one. I got a nice variety here. I got the Paris Cornered Honeyed Fantasy. We have ourselves a Fragrance World in here, and I also have a new Zoha Aroma. They sent me over some of their new-ish stuff for me to check out, and I had a good experience with them before and pretty excited about that one. So let's quit screwing around. Let's get into it. All right, kicking things off, going to the house of Fragrance World with Fragrance World's Genuine Man Only Bois. Now, I scooped this up from Fragrance Buy for $25, and pretty sure I know what they're going for when it comes to what this is trying to clone, but we'll have to find out. So let's dive in. All right, so there we have the box presentation for Fragrance World's Genuine Man Only Bois. Nice looking box presentation, but typical cardboard box. Let's check out the bottle. All right, and there we have the bottle presentation for Genuine Man Only Bois. Nice looking bottle presentation. They're really not trying to hide what fragrance brand line they're going after here, but nice thick bottle going on to this, nice thick base going on. This is driving me nuts that this feels off center to me. This is off center to me. Those little things really bother my brain a little bit, but minor detail. Cap on this is a thick acrylic, won't crush in my powerful hands, and the atomizer on this takes a second. There we go. Fat sprays, doesn't go too far, but it'll absolutely get the job done. So what does this smell like? So right off the rip, just smelling this in the air, really handsome, gentlemanly sort of scent DNA going on to this. Very similar to the Givenchy Gentleman Bois. It's a twist on that one. It's not quite 100%, but really nice spice going on here. There's some like pepper, some coriander perhaps, nice kind of geranium. It has like kind of that fresh, but kind of like well put together, handsome gentleman sort of vibe going on to it. Nice woody profile that's in there. Has like a bit of a powderiness that's going on there, a little touch of some sweetness as well. Really nice in the air right now. I'm digging this one. So let's dive in. Yeah, so right off the rip, just smelling this off paper, this is a really nice fragrance. I'm digging this quite a bit. Like I said, a very handsome smelling fragrance. So it has those spices that are mixed in there, but it has this kind of cleanness that's going on to it, bit of an aromatic touch, but this coriander, this pepper spice combination is just adding this kind of like masculine, but still kind of gentlemanly sort of touch going on to it. And there is this kind of powdery sweetness going on to it, like a touch of iris that's there. Almost has a little bit of a vanillic profile going on to it, but really more about kind of this iris sweet touch that's around the edge, just adding some kind of almost cleanliness, like a softness that's really contrasting nice with those spices and that geranium that's going on here, but just has that kind of fresh shave sort of vibe going on to it with like a little bit of a darkness going on from those spices. Really nice fragrance. As it's opening up a little bit more, those woods are pushing forward more, so there's this nice cedar that's starting to come up. And I think that kind of that fresh shave vibe that I'm getting is like almost from like a soapy kind of sandalwood that's coming forward. There is some additional woodiness to it, but it does have that kind of clean, smooth sandalwood sort of vibe going on to it. There is that sprinkle of iris as well, but there's almost like this like slight, maybe smoky might be too strong of a word, but it's got this kind of like the spice in here, gives it like a smoky edge that mixes in with those woods. It could be the spice from the cedar, with that powdery iris that's coming through, just adding that touch of sweetness that's coming in. And I am getting a little hint of like, again, kind of a vanillic sweetness coming through, but really about those kind of that spices, those woods that are there with that powdery iris that's in there. I've said it a million times already, but I'm digging this one. This is nice. Yeah, beautiful fragrance. Very similar to the Givenchy Gentleman Bois, but there's like a twist going on to it. It's got the Givenchy Gentleman DNA for sure. I'm not sure if this is like a one-to-one to the Bois necessarily. It's got some other stuff going on to it, maybe like a little mix of some other Gentleman series fragrances in here, but moral of the story, this is smelling really, really nice so far. So let's skip to the dry down, see how this unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, back with the dry down of Fragrance World's Genuine Man Only Bois. Been about an hour, let it settle down, do its own thing. Beautiful dry down on this. Didn't change a whole lot. It just kind of like shifted a little bit. So like where the iris was kind of a little bit more forward, where there was a little bit more sweetness kind of coming through. A lot more of the woodiness has come through now. So still maintain some of those spices that were there. I'm getting a little bit more coriander now in the dry down than I was in the original opening. It was there, but it's kind of coming forward a little bit more. Still getting that kind of powdery sweet iris that's there, but it's really moved into this kind of like the cedar and the sandalwoods come forward more. And like I said, I think it's the sandalwood that's kind of giving it a bit of that soapy sort of vibe, or a little bit of kind of like that clean sort of vibe. Maybe not soapy, but like a clean sort of vibe, just nice smooth sandalwood, mixing in with this kind of rich spicy cedar that's there, but it still maintains some of that iris, a little bit like hints of sweetness, a little bit like maybe some cacao that's coming through. It kind of has like a little bit of this kind of like bitter sweet sort of vibe going on to it, along with those spices. So through and through, very nice dry down on this, very handsome, very gentlemanly sort of fragrance, and very much in that Givenchy gentleman, Bois, maybe the EDT, kind of like a mashup between those two, but definitely has that DNA to it, and big fan of this. And for, what was it, 25 bucks? This, pending performance on this one, but even if performance is kind of dog crap on this one, it smells fantastic. I think bang for your buck, this is a great pickup, so might be something you want to check out. That's Fragrance World's Genuine Man Only, Bois. All right, next up, going to the house of Zoha Aroma, and it's Zoha Aroma's Golden Dusk. Now you can scoop this up for $44, and folks over at Zoha Aroma were kind enough to send this my way, said, hey, we got some new fragrances we want you to check out, and that's what they did here. So presentation on this is their kind of typical kind of almost velvety style of bag here that's just got kind of the tie at the top here. So let's just get right into this here. I'm not going to use my knife because I might hurt myself there, but it does open up like a so, revealing our fragrance bottle sitting on the inside there. So nice little touch, little twist from the typical box presentation. And bottle presentation on this, pretty straightforward, just kind of a rounded corner, rectangular style of bottle here, name of the fragrance right there, and they do list the notes on the side of the bottle there. So pretty easy peasy bottle presentation. Nice long neck on this for the cap. Cap on this feels like I could crush it in my powerful hands, but it's got a little bit of strength going on to it, so maybe not. And the atomizer on this bad boy. Ooh, nice atomizer. Shoots halfway across the room. It's got like a spring in here. It's like audible spring in here. Kind of gangster. Overall, decent presentation, will absolutely get the job done. What does it smell like? So right off the rip, just smelling this in the air, really nice, sweet style of fragrance. Heavy on the vanilla. There's a little hint of some peach that's going on there as well. Some like honey that's in there, a little touch of some florals, but the vanilla in here is really nice. Like a really like ambery vanilla, almost musky style of vanilla. That it really reminds me of the Mercedes-Benz Club Black style of vanilla. I'm not saying that this is what this smells like, but the style of vanilla that's being used here, very similar to that, but it has this peach mixed into it. It has that honey note that's going on to it. So really sweet, gourmandy style of fragrance. I'm digging this one. Let's dive in. Yeah, so right off the rip, just smelling the soft paper, very similar to how it was in the air, but I am picking up some additional fruity notes that are here, a little bit more of a floral touch going on to it, but really about this like honeyed vanilla, a little bit of musky amber that's worked its way in there. So nice mixes of like a couple different kinds of sweetness. So it's got that floral sweetness, it's got the fruity sweetness, but it's really about that vanilla and that honey that's there. The honey gives it a nice kind of thickness and like a texture that's going on to it. So very unisex style of fragrance. They did say that this is like their original collection. So this is their own formula. This isn't like necessarily trying to clone anything, because they do have some pretty amazing clone fragrances at their house, but this one is one of their originals. And so far, I'm digging it. Yeah, as it's opening up a little bit more, that peach is starting to come forward. I could smell it more in the air, but on the test strip, it kind of took a minute. But peachy vanilla, honey, ambery musk, that's basically what you're getting off this. The other fruity notes that I was picking up have kind of like sat back a little bit. The floral edges are still there, but they're just really kind of off to the edges, kind of smoothing things out and just allowing this like peachy vanilla, honey, amber, musk texture to come through. Really nice. Yeah, I'm digging this one. This is definitely a unisex style of fragrance. Some people, depending on your taste in fragrances, some of the gentlemen out there that don't really care for sweeter fragrances will think this is leaning feminine. If you're like me, I kind of enjoy some sweeter fragrances on occasion. I do find this is sitting unisex, so I will definitely wear this one, but might be tilting a little bit on the feminine side for some people, but overall, really kind of delicious smelling fragrance. So let's skip to the dry down, see how this unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, back with the dry down of Zoha Aroma's Golden Dusk. Been about an hour. Let's settle down, do its own thing. Really nice dry down on this. The vanilla in this is what's really doing it for me. Like I said, it really reminds me of the style of vanilla that's used in the Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Not saying this is like a clone of that one, but the way the vanilla is done is very similar in this one, but just think of like the Club Black minus the incense plus a peach. That's kind of like where you're gonna get in terms of that scent profile, and I'm really enjoying that one. So it's got this kind of, this musky, ambery style of vanilla with a little touch of that peach that's going on, and it's got that kind of honeyed suckle, honeyed sort of vibe going on to it, so it adds some thickness, some texture, some additional sweetness. But this one's not like overly sweet for me. It's not like sickening sweet. It's not like kind of toothache inducing style of sweet. Just kind of like a nice, smooth, gourmandy style of fragrance that I'm digging this one so far. Like I said, it is very much a unisex style of fragrance. Some people might find this tilts into the feminine territory, but if you're a dude that enjoys sweet fragrances like myself, then I think you can absolutely pull this one off. I'm going to be wearing this one for sure. So overall, I think for 44 bucks, I think this is a really well put together fragrance. It smells fantastic, and it might be worth checking out. That's Zoha Aroma's Golden Dusk. All right, last, but hopefully not least, going to the house of Paris Corner with Paris Corner's Honeyed Fantasy. Now, I scooped this up from Fragrance Buy for $33, and I hadn't heard anything about this. I'm not even sure if I've heard anyone talk about this one yet. So let's dive in, find out what we're dealing with. All right, there we have the box presentation for Paris Corner's Honeyed Fantasy. Nice looking box presentation, has this kind of bee and some shimmery gold there with some honeycomb pattern going around, but overall, typical cardboard box. Let's check out the bottle. And there we have the bottle presentation. So a very similar kind of design with the shimmery gold honeycomb going around it. This is a deceivingly heavy bottle. This is a very heavy bottle that's going on here with a little bee sitting up top there. So overall, nice bottle presentation. Cap on this, mix of plastic and some thick acrylic, will not crush in my powerful hands. And it's got kind of like a chiseled corrugated, and the camera's not gonna pick that up, is it? Interesting looking cap, not just your typical cylinders, got some design going on to it. And the atomizer on this, ooh, that's smooth. Nice atomizer on this. Nice long sprays, good puffs on that. That's just felt smooth on my finger. I like that. Very nice atomizer. But what does this smell like? So right off the rip, just smell this in the air. I'm not a big fan of the opening on this one, to be quite honest. It's got a really kind of like sharp, like almost headache-inducing camphorous nature to it. So it's got like geranium with like a leather and a myrrh kind of mixed in there, but it's also got like this like competing sweetness that's going on to it. So it's got this like aromatic feel going on to it, but it's got this like kind of like sharpness and, like I said, like this camphorous sort of vibe going on to it. I'm not a big fan of this in the air, but let's get this on paper. Let's keep an open mind, dive in. So right off the rip, just smelling this off paper, a little bit different than it was in the air, but I'm still not digging this. There's a lot of stuff that's trying to compete here. So it's still got that camphorous sort of vibe. So it's got that very kind of like sharp, aromatic, but almost like a stringent sort of nature going on to it. So there's like the geranium, little hint of some leather, but there's this like honey that's competing. There's some cinnamon that's in there. I think there's some hint of some oud that's tucked in there. Just kind of mixing in with some spices. That it's just, everything's kind of like competing and running up against itself. I'm not a fan of this so far. As it's opening up a little bit, it is starting to settle a little bit more. So it's not as kind of, I'm gonna say it, it's not as off-putting as it was in the opening. I really did not enjoy that opening. But as this is developing, I'm starting to get kind of that earthy patchouli mixing in with this myrrh a little bit, along with that agarwood. It's a very subtle, almost kind of light, airy style of agarwood, mixing in with some honey. There is some like warm spice in there. It's not like a dominant cinnamon, but it's got that kind of cinnamon sort of spice feel going on to it. But it's still kind of competing, but it's got some earthy nature coming forward. The honeyed aspect of it's coming forward, and that kind of light oud that's there. This is apparently is a twist on the Montal honey oud. Sort of, I guess, maybe in that neighborhood. It's definitely a big twist on that. It's got it sort of reminds you of it, but they're not hitting the mark on it quite yet. We'll see. Let's give this a minute. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about this. It's a very interesting combination. Some people might like this, but for me, it's just got this kind of this odd, almost off-putting kind of spiced leather that's mixed with some light oud that has this honey texture with some competing kind of earthy tones with the patchouli that's in there. It's It's honestly, in my opinion, it's just a little bit of a mess, to be quite honest. I'm just not digging this one, but let's skip to the dry down. Let's see if we can redeem ourselves in the dry down here. So let's do that. All right, back with the dry down of Paris Corner's Honeyed Fantasy. Been about an hour, let it settle down, do its own thing. The dry down, it did smooth out a little bit more, so it's not as astringent or camphorous as it was in that initial kind of opening in that midpoint here. But the dry down's still not doing it for me. It's not gelling together for me. It's got just kind of this almost off-putting spiced leather that's mixing in with some sweet accords, has those kind of this very green, aromatic, almost medicinal style of like geranium that's worked in there. And then it's trying to incorporate that kind of honeyed cinnamon sweet aspect going onto it. And it's not working for me. I'm really not enjoying this fragrance whatsoever. Bit of a letdown. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of the Montal Honeyed Oud. Not my favorite Montal, but like I do appreciate that one. I do enjoy that one. I don't own a bottle, but I have sample and I'll occasionally pull it out and give it a whiff, but this one missed the mark for me, to be quite honest. I'm just not a big fan, and you make up your own mind regarding that, but overall I can't recommend this one, and I'm just a little let down, to be quite honest. That's Paris Corner's Honeyed Fantasy. All right, so there you have it. That's my unboxing first impressions of 3 new fragrances that I recently picked up, 2 of which I think are hidden gem fragrances. The last one, not so much, but can't hit a home run at every at-bat, but want to hear from you guys. What are some other fragrances you want to see me do an unboxing for, full review, all that jazz? Comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, different taste and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.